Okay, we're good to go. Seconds out here with Jamel Herring, WBO junior. What is it? Junior. Oh, I don't know how you say it in the US. we,
Lightweight.
yeah, we call it super featherweight over here. It's
Yeah,
junior lightweight, isn't it, for you guys?
right.
Yeah, junior
Yeah, so
lightweight
both.
champion of the
We,
world.
we, we say the both. We say both over here too.
Okay, well I shouldn't have tripped over my words so much if I'd have known that.
It's
How
all right.
how you doing today? Anyway, in this you're in New York, right?
No, right now I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, is that where
My,
you live? I
my,
know that's where
my
you train,
yeah, that's where I live at now. But my family, I'm from New York.
and you train with Mike Stafford, right?
No, I trained with Brian McIntyre and Bud Crawford. I used to train with Mike Stafford.
I'm gonna get something right today, I'm sure. Um, we wanted to speak to you for a while anyway, but I know you saw our recent interview with Carl Frampton when he had some comments to make about you. And I
Yeah,
think he meant them very respectfully. Actually, he's a
yeah.
great admirer of
Awesome.
your talents.
Yeah, he's a
But
good
we
guy.
asked him to outline his the strengths and weaknesses he perceives in you, and he
Right.
wanted to answer the question. But what did you make of his critique?
Um, truthfully, some of the stuff he was actually correct on. To be honest, like like I said, I don't like to exert myself if I don't have to. But it's not because of the weight, because I have a nutritionist. So the weight's not an issue. Like my nutritionist is all about health. So she feels that I'm having a hard time with the weight. She would like force me to move up in weight because she's more concerned about protecting the brain. And as you know, in boxing, we had a lot of injuries due to accidents in the ring because of not being, the brain swelling and things of that nature. So she's very big on that. So it's not the weight, but yeah, I do don't like to exert myself unless I have to. Like if I can box the fight, if I can box the whole fight, and and do it at a pace I feel like doing it, I will do that. But like I said, I'm not the fastest puncher, you know what I mean? But time it's all about timing, and if you see from my punch output and stats, I like to be more accurate than the waist punches.
How difficult, if at all, is it for you to make the weight? Because you've got what, a 70-inch reach, you're 5'10". For that weight, for super featherweight, as I'm allowed to call it that now,
Yeah.
yeah, it must be at least a bit of a challenge.
What's crazy? It only becomes a challenge like with since I have a nutrition now, it only becomes a challenge like maybe those last 2 days. I'll say that those last, because it's always like that last pound or two is always it seems like those are the hardest to shed off at times. But I get it done. She makes sure that I properly rehydrate for the fight because like I said, like I pointed out earlier, it's all about having the right fluid in you and the right nutritions in you, nutrition in you as well, because you don't want to be in the ring and be sluggish and and feeling just groggy. But yeah, I mean, it's like last, I think the day before the weigh-in or so, is always those seem like the worst. But once we get it out the way, I take that time just to relax and rest and get ready for the fight.
You had a very long and distinguished amateur career. You were obviously a 2012 Olympian. You went to the Worlds the year before that.
Right.
Was it ever kind of designed for you to become a pro at the end of it? Because you had your military career at the
Yeah,
same time.
it's funny. It actually, it probably wasn't until after the Olympics, and I was trying to figure out if I wanted to stay in the Marine Corps or go pro. And I chose the latter, of course, because I figured, the military will always be there if I ever wanted to, decide just to forget boxing and go back to the military. So that will always be there. But we all know in boxing it's like a small window, for you to do anything, especially as a professional, to do anything, phenomenal. So I chose just to go to the pro route and see how I would do.
Do you ever think back and kind of wish you'd have turned pro maybe 2 or 3 years earlier?
I don't know because you know why? Because I feel like a lot of my amateur experience it came because of the help of the Marine Corps. I mean, of course, I mean we would like to be younger, but
Well, yeah.
at the end of the day, I have no regrets. Because like I'm here now. Like I said, Frampton. I have a lot of respect for Carl. Actually, I'm actually a fan of Carl Frampton. I tell everybody that, and it's just an honor, to be in, head into a fight that people are who are highly anticipating for this year. So that says a lot.
You've only had 2 defeats as a pro, and they came within quite a short space of time. I think it's just over a year. What
Mm-hmm.
was the reason behind that, and what's changed since then that you've got this great run of form now?
Um, I think the first fight, like the Shavkov fight, I was undefeated, so of course you feel at times that that you can pretty much beat anybody. I mean, you have that mindset. And the thing with that issue with that fight was I took it on a 3 week notice, and which was basically my fault because I had the option just to say no and walk away from it. But at the time I thought I was getting to that level, but the Shavkov fight was actually, to me, it was actually an eye opener because it showed me that there's levels to this game. So with that defeat, it just made me go back to the gym and train harder. Now the Miller fight, even though I felt that I did enough to pull that fight out, I didn't have as much as attention on me that I needed, which is why, like I pointed out, that I changed trainers to the Bud Crawford camp because I needed more focus on me. And at the time, training with Mike Stafford, you had guys like Adrian Brona, Robert Easter Jr., Rashid Warren. So all the attention wasn't, I'm not saying that even now all the attention's on me, but with Brian McIntyre and Red Spikes and Isau Dieguez, they know how to divide and split up all the time for the fighters. Like me and Bud, we'll be in the training camp together, but we'll both get equally the same amount of attention and time.
What was it that first attracted you to that camp, particularly when you knew it was time to make a change?
It was in 2017 when I was a sparring partner for Terence Bud Crawford for the Indongo fight. Okay. And that's when we started getting the chemistry. And I knew Bud, I knew Bud from the amateurs, and I knew one of his trainers really well at the time. I knew Red Spikes really well. So after that, when I seen how they fundamentally worked together and how the chemistry was within the camp, after the Miller fight, that's when I decided to reach out and give them a call, and they welcomed me with open arms. And then you seen that from that Miller fight, my track record had changed drastically, thanks to them.
It's interesting that to find adequate sparring for a tall super lightweight in Indongo, they had to go down a couple of divisions.
Right, exactly, and they're actually the reason why I actually went down to super featherweight, because they seen that I was pretty much closely walking around lightweight. I don't even now. I don't want to blow up in weight too high because, like I say, no one likes losing weight, like too much weight. So I don't believe in the whole guys who blow up in between fights like 30 plus pounds over. So when I think I was walking around maybe at the time 144 pounds, and it was you could make super featherweight if you got the nutrition, because I was making lightweight on my own. I had no nutritionist and anything like that at the time. So when I got with them and started, because Bud's a big dude also, and he at one point he was getting down to lightweight. So that's when I started working with the same team and doing the same regimen as him. That's when I started actually making super featherweight a lot easier on myself than when I was doing it at lightweight.
What have you gained apart from the one-on-one attention you talked about earlier, but from working in that Bomac camp, Isau Dieguez, as you mentioned, and working alongside one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world in Terence Bud Crawford as well?
I think overall I got a better sense of confidence, because when you feel like you have a great team behind you and people actually care for you and want to see you succeed, going into the ring, it does a lot for you mentally, because we all, like they say, boxing is more mental than physical. So, with just having that great foundation behind you, it just makes it a lot easier on me in the ring. Because when I go in the ring, I feel like I covered all bases in camp. So I don't feel as I don't have any doubt in my mind, well, maybe I didn't do enough of this or I didn't do enough of that in camp. But with that team, and like I said, Bud to me is like a fourth trainer. Bud, if you look at Bud's always in my corner at every one of my fights now, and he's like you said, when you have one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world today behind you, that goes a long way. And plus, I get that sparring with him now instead of being a sparring partner. He comes in for my camps and helps me with sparring, so. It all plays out really well.
And he can obviously fight both ways as well, southpaw and orthodox. Yeah,
exactly,
so whoever your opponent is, he can kind of mimic.
Exactly. It's to the point where I actually started working on switching from orthodox to southpaw because of him. So when I'm in camp now, I'll do a whole sparring session, in the orthodox stance or whatever. But that's greatly due to working with Bud so much.
I hope while he's influenced you greatly inside the gym, it's not too much on social media. We've seen this week he seems to be getting quite irate in lockdown.
Hey, every once in a while he comes out. He comes out the cave and speaks his mind, as you've seen on social media lately. But at the end of the day, Bud is he's a real quiet, humble dude. Like I think it's like with him, it's like when you keep poking the bear, but so many times, that's when he has to like, okay, I have to let my presence be known that I'm not here to play games.
Now, you're in the military for a long time, of course, and you won
Right.
your world title on Veterans Day weekend, I believe. Is that right?
Right. No, Memorial
Memorial
Day.
Day weekend,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, I'm having a good one here. But yeah, Memorial Day weekend. How fulfilling was that for you from kind of an emotional perspective of your history?
It was great. Like you pointed out before, because I had the ups and downs of my career, and even going into that fight, people thought that Ito was actually the better fighter, and you can just see from the difference with the new team, like I said, that I have behind me, how easy we made the fight because we always implement a game plan for each individual. But it was a great moment. I felt like I pretty much accomplished everything that I wanted at the time as a fighter, and like now and now at my stage, this is pretty much the bonus. Like, I mean, not every world champion gets to get that high magnitude fight, profile fight in their career. I mean, we've seen a lot of we see a lot of, because there's so many world titles. We see a lot of champions out there, and half of them you can't even remember. They just have the belt. But like, for fans, actually anticipating and excited for this fight, it goes a long way, and it tells you how far you came along.
Do you miss the military, not just your friends and kind of comrades, but also the lifestyle and the routine?
Oh yeah, at times I do, but like I say, it mainly becomes because of those comrades that I came up with. But I definitely at times reminisce and think about my time in the Marine Corps, and it's crazy. I still keep in contact with all the Marines who I serve with. So yeah, but yeah, I do. Sometimes I say the Marine Corps is a lot easier than than what I go through at times in the civilian world.
Like decorated Marine, amateur Olympian, professional world champion. I'd hate to be like competing with you for a girl or something like that, like when your daughters grow up and have boyfriends and stuff, they're going to be very intimidated by you.
Oh my God, I got a teenage daughter right now, and then I'm about to start going through that stage. So I'll see how that process works. But for the most part, I'm just saying I'm just blessed and I'm just happy to be around man in life.
Yeah, you're a humble guy, but clearly you're a high achiever as well. It must be a tough act to follow, I guess.
Yeah, it's a summer effect. I try to basically set the example. My thing is this. Like, I want to set the example for others. Like I said, I've been through the worst. But I got back on my feet and I've climbed the mountain. So I always try to set the example. Like, no matter how hard things may get, it's never over until you say it's over.
And how many children do you have?
I have three girls, two boys. So yeah, the girl and I'm actually starting to realize that the boys seem a lot easier to raise than the girls. But girls are girls, and of course, they always have a special place in their father's heart.
Are you quite a hands-on dad? I know you're not there all the time because you're in training camps and stuff, but when
Oh
you
yeah,
are there,
man. I think this whole coronavirus has been like a blessing in disguise because I've actually spent more time now at home, my wife, and the kids, of course. So like for the most part, since we gotta be shacked up, we make the most of it though, and we have a great time, and just the bonding has been incredible.
awesome. And we talked about the Frampton fight a little bit earlier, but when this does come together, and we don't know when lockdown's going to finish, but it's signed and sealed, as we know, what type of fight do you expect it to be? Is it going to be kind of a chess match between two
I, be-
clever
I,
operators, or
believe it's gonna be a chess match. Like, I don't get into the whole buzz of people just thinking that I'm just the big guy versus little guy thing. I think because Carl Frampton is a very intelligent fighter. That's why I respect him. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but like I said, the man was I believe what fight of the year a few years back.
when
So
he beat Leo Santa Cruz in
exactly.
yeah.
He had the Scott Quigg fights, and and things of that nature. So like Carl Frampton is a very well established, accomplished fighter, and I respect that. And that's why I'm so excited for this fight because it's not just any fight. This is a guy who, in my humble opinion, I believe will be a Hall of Famer someday. And that's just me being humble because, like I said, you don't become a fighter of the year and without having as an accolade on your resume for nothing. So I mean, I think, and like I said, he's vying to make history for his country. So that's why I'm just so I'm so excited for this fight. Like I said, Carl Frampton is not a walkover. It's not a slouch, but I believe it'll be more of a chess match until things get really heated, where you have to go for broke.
The amount of travelling you've done in your life as a Marine and as an amateur boxer, you've done 2 tours of Iraq, I believe. I'm
Right.
sure you're not going to be intimidated by having to come over to Belfast. That must be a bit of an advantage.
I'm actually excited. That's the crazy part. I'm actually excited because the people so far, the people in of Belfast, they've been welcoming. They speak to me on Twitter, and I speak, and I reach back out to them. There's never no animosity. Of course, they're rooting for their countrymen, but they don't have a nasty appeal about it. They don't make a big fuss about it. They're actually grateful that fighters are actually willing to come over, overseas to fight and especially me being the champion. But it's one of those things where the main reason why I have no issue going to Belfast is because when I was trying to get the big fights with the other champions, it was difficult. But Carl Frampton, he moved up the weight class and he stepped up to the plate, and to make that big fight. So, and also I felt as Carl Frampton is a 2 division world champion, and he's accomplished more than I have. So I give him that respect. Especially we never know, this could be his last hurrah or whatever you may say. And I feel like why not do it on in his backyard to where the people will really come out to. But at the same time, though, I still have to take it, take the fight seriously and have to go handle business. But I give Carl that much respect that I had no issue going to Belfast when they brought it up.
And just finally, assuming all does go your way against Frampton when the fight ultimately happens, we're assuming it will still be this year. What are your
Yeah,
remaining?
it'll be this it'll be this year.
What after that are your remaining goals in boxing?
I still want to unify. I still want to unify, of course. See how many times I can unify. Because, like I said, there's a lot of as you've seen, the super featherweight division is actually a good division. There's a lot of great talent in the division. There's a lot of other champions. There's a lot of good contenders who could potentially be champions, like Oscar Valdez and things of that nature. But like I said, we'll just have to see after the Frampton fight. Like, you got to still take it one fight at a time. Carl is no it's no slouch, so I'm never going to look over him and look too far into the future. But of course, like I said, there's a lot of great talent out there. But Carl Frampton is one of those great talents that I'm competing against now.
Brilliant. Well, we really appreciate your time. I know everyone's got loads of time at the moment, but you, with the amount
Yeah,
of children you've got at home, you maybe time's more of a premium for you than it is for the rest of us.
right.
But it's really good of you, and yeah, we'll probably speak to you again during lockdown, I
Oh yeah,
imagine, unless
oh,
it
of course.
ends
So
suddenly. But
I'm glad we actually got to speak. Because like I said, I was like, hey, Carl got his chance to speak. Let me get my chance to speak. But I'm actually glad that we got to speak. And plus, like I said, I respect all the fans out there in the UK and Ireland. So because especially they're huge on boxing. Like, I was at the Joshua Ruiz first fight in the Garden.
yeah,
And that's the reason why I wanted to fight Carl at first in the Garden, because I seen that whole when the Katie Taylor fans and the Anthony Joshua fans, and I seen how big their fan base came in crowds to support their fighter. So I respect that from the UK and Irish fan base. But like I said, if I can go over there too and potentially fight in a football stadium, I'm fine with that as well.
brilliant. Well, we're looking forward to that too. We hope it is in the football stadium, so it'd be great.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jamel, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, man. Take care of yourself out
Take
there.
care.